All right, it's Friday, October 31st. Wanted to follow up on the SPY. After buying some puts here as we were rolling over to the downside, it took out the lows of the day as anticipated. I set up an overage trade. Had a pause here as expected for a moment, but now we're continuing lower to the low end of yesterday's range. So, definitely a good trade here heading lower, but I don't want to, go for the home run quite yet. I know we're just inside of yesterday's bar at the low end of the range, so we could kind of pause in here a little bit. So I want to scale out some more of the trade. I bought the 690 puts at 832. I scaled that at 950 to set up an overage trade. Just sold some more at 1030, so it's 2 points higher. There's some nice volatility in here, and now we get to see, really how this day unfolds. I've been describing in previous videos how as we come to the end of the week here on this red day, potentially that's at least forming for now, that also aligns with a red shooter bar here on the weekly chart, and this could be at exhaustion risk, kind of the sign that you start to follow through a little bit lower into next week if this bar closes like this by the end of the day, and you could see a gap to fill between kind of the high of this bar and the low of this bar, so we can come down a little bit. So after the Fed announcement, I've been describing how back there on Wednesday, how we kind of expected a little lower prices. We got that yesterday. Today was a little gap up today, but as described in previous videos, the intraday structure really didn't unfold to the upside. We moved a little lower, tried to have a red to green move, paused in the middle of that bar, then started lower. So there was the opportunity, the way I started to buy puts to take out the low of the day, see what happens there. Now we're heading to the bottom of yesterday's range. Let's see, you never know. Maybe we can just, after this red big bar, we're going, you almost expect those lows to be tested, even though we didn't do it out of the gates. Maybe we just opened at the high end of the range, and by the end of the day, we get to the bottom there and, hold red on the week, which leads to a little expectations to follow through lower next week. So good trade here on the SPY. Going to let's see what happens now at our next little inflection point, the low end of this, big red bar range from yesterday. So that's kind of an area where, maybe support will develop. I don't know. But, nevertheless, all at no risk right now, good volatility. And if we can break through this low of the day, and close red, then it might project a little lower into next week as well. So still negative on the SPY until we really get some kind of a 2-up day developing. And we'll see if that, unfolds. It doesn't look likely today, but maybe sometime into next week we can come down a little bit, fill in this gap, and resume the uptrend, on some kind of basis. But for now, definitely heading to the downside, as you can see here. And those options that I bought put options at 832 are now up to 1080. So moving up 2.5 points. Good trade on the puts on the SPY.